Okay, so today we're going to talk about, like yesterday we were talking about, is the working of the PDS. So today we will talk about is the working of the PDS. Previously we were talking about how PDS was started and all. So now how this PDS or public distribution system is functioning and how is the process, we will discuss this today. Okay, so let me write down here the working of the PDS. Okay, so the working of the PDS, here I can tell you that, see, the existing structure of the PDS works in a cooperative federalist. So what is federalist? Like one central government system in which both center and state shares the responsibility. So it is not only the center's responsibility but also the state will also do it. Now let us just see what is the responsibility of the central government. So the central government here is responsible for buying food grains from farmers. Okay, and let me just clear this. Okay, so here the central government, so the central government, okay, then allocates. So allocate means it distributes and it gives where it is supposed to give. So allocates the grains to each state on the basis of a predetermined formula. Okay, so this is the work of the central government. Now let's talk about state government. So the state government, so the state government is responsible for identifying the poor and eligible households in the states. Okay, now here what they do is, the center transport the food grains to the central deposits. Okay, so that is that they are called as FCI. So let me write down here, the center transports the food grains to the central depots, and they are called as FCI in each state. Okay, now after that, so let me write after that. So this is the process I'm explaining you. The state government is responsible for delivering the food grains from the center depots to the ration shops. Okay, so the ration shops are the ultimate endpoints from where the food grains are sold to the public distribution system beneficiaries. So the ones who are beneficiaries, they can get the entire food grains from the ration shop. So let us see the drawing. By way of drawing, let me explain you. Okay, so let me just explain you by drawing. So first, say for example, I'll draw here. Say this is the farmer. Okay, and now the food grains are reached to a place called as central depots. And what are they called as? FCI, Food Corporation of India. And then it reaches to the state government, and from there fair prices are given. So fair price, okay, or to shops or ration shops. From ration shop, it ultimately reaches to the beneficiary. So ultimate beneficiaries. So I hope you understood by the way of the diagram that this is the way it is done. Now we will talk about the minimum support prices, that is called as MSP. So because everything, whatever the PDS system is done, it is done by MSP. Okay. So we will do about the minimum support prices in Indian agriculture. What are the drawbacks and what are the disadvantages and advantages? Okay. So we'll write now the next. Okay, so we now write about is the issues related to minimum support price in India. Okay, so first let us see the definition. Okay, so MSP is a part of India's agriculture price policy. Now, minimum support price is the price at which the government purchases crops from the farmers. Okay. Now, MSP is the guaranteed minimum floor price. So it's called as the minimum. That means it will not increase, it will not decrease. This is the minimum floor price which is being given by the government. Okay, and this is the price that the farmer must get. It must get so this is the minimum support price which they should get from the government. And when should they get it? They should get this from the government in case. Now, in case, the market price, okay, the market price of the crops falls below The MSP. Now, sometimes you may ask me that, ma'am, is there a possibility that market prices, fall? Yes. When there is an excess or buffer stocks, excess, supply of food grains, sometimes the market price is below, I mean, the price is below the market price. So at that time, they are supposed to get this guaranteed MSP from the government. Okay. So that is what is called as the rational. Okay, so this is the minimum price they are supposed to get, come what may. Anything happens, they will get this. Okay, so now the rational or the equalization, you can write equalization behind MSP is to support the farmer from excess fall in the crop prices. Now the MSP, if you see, is for various crops, it is announced by the government. So let me write that. For various crops is announced by the central government at the beginning of every crop seasons on the recommendation, okay, of the government. So MSP is a fixed assured price that for farmers get in case price falls due to a bumper harvest and all. So MSP is in sense it works as an insurance policy to the farmers to save them from the price falls. Okay, so the most important aim of the MSP policy is to save the Indian farmer from making any distress or their sad sales. So in the event of any bumper harvest, they will, out of panicky, they will sell. So when the market prices falls below the announced MSP, the government through its agencies, they buy the entire stock offered by the farmers at the MSP. Okay, so now let me give you some very important information. So the MSP is currently announced for 24 commodities including. So let me write one by one. So the first is 7 cereals. So what are the 7 cereals? Let me write: paddy, wheat, jowar, bajra, barley, maize and ragi. Second is 5 pulses. So 5 pulses means dal. So gram, arhar, moong, urad and lentil. Then the third is 8 oil seeds. So which are the 8 oil seeds? Let's see: groundnut, rapeseed, mustard, toria. So these are all Indian words. Soya bean, sunflower, sesame seeds or sesamum, okay, niger seeds and safflower seed. Okay, then the next I will write, I don't have space, so I'll just delete this. Okay, So the next is the fourth one is cash crops. Okay, so cash crops we are going to talk about is raw cotton, copra. So what is copra? That is dry coconut. It's also called as desiccated coconut. So copra, raw jute, and Virginia flu. That is curved tobacco. Okay. So the system. Now let us see some history of MSP. So let me write down here. History of MSP. Now this system was started in India in mid 1960s due to food shortages. So this you have to remember. Okay. Now what was the idea? So the idea, this is the mission. The idea was to create a favorable environment and incentive farmers to increase by adopting, because if you remember, the green revolution started in 1960 and that is the time when there were HYV seeds introduced for the first time in India. So this was done also. So MSP was done to encourage the high yield variety seeds and technology for cereals like wheat and rice. So the adoption of MSP policy was in India was mainly due to food scarcity and price fluctuations which happened due to floods and drought. Okay, and they wanted to keep it at par, or so that international prices are also well guarded, okay, for exports and imports. Now the policy in general was directed towards ensuring reasonable food prices for consumers by providing food grains through public distribution system, that is called. So introduction and adoption of the new technology was created for increasing the high yield variety of seeds, and this mechanism was done everything through the minimum support price system. Now in order to provide farmers an assured price for their crops, and motivating them to adopt new technology or advanced technology to increase the production, the Agriculture Price Commission, okay, was set up in 1965. So let me write it down here. Very, very important point. So in order to provide farmers an assured price for their crops and motivating them to adopt advanced technology to increase production. So this is the commission, the Agricultural Price Commission was set up in the year 1965, and this was renamed. So it was renamed as Commission for Agriculture Cost and Price in 1985, and somebody had recommended it. So on the recommendation of L.K. Jha committee. So this is very very important, L.K. Jha committee. And the role of the Agriculture Price Commission is to advise the government on agriculture price policy. Okay, so let me write down this also. So what is the role of this? Okay, so the role of Agriculture Price Commission is to advise government on agriculture price policy. Okay, so basically, there are various crops are taken into account of, factors including the supply and the demand of factors of each crop. Okay, so we will see one by one, and we will see also that, first we will draw in 3 lines. So let me just wrap this first. Okay, so first I will write is crop related factors. Here I will write is, okay, so first we will finish the crop related. So what are the crop related factors? The first is cost of production. So how much is the cost of production? What is the input prices? Okay, then what is the input and output price equality or parity? We also have to see the demand and supply. We also have to see the cost of living. We also have to see the price level. Okay, so price level or inflation level, as to say. We also have to see the international prices. So these are the parameters when we are fixing MSP. Okay, we have to see. Now let's talk about is the supply factor. So this was the crop related factors. So now let me rub this. Okay, so now we will talk about is supply factors. Okay, so the first one is area. What is the area under crop? How much is the production? That is the yield. Third is what is the productivity? What is the demand of import and export? How much are we importing this crop and how much are we exporting this crop? So those scenarios also have to be taken under consideration. Then what is the processing cost? So processing cost. Then 6, transportation and distribution cost. Okay, 7th, taxes and fees. Then 8th, domestic stock availability. Okay, so how much is the availability? So this is also very important. Okay, coming to the other factors. So now we spoke about crop related factors, then we spoke about supply factors, and now we will talk about other related. Okay, so we'll talk about is the other factors.